Masahiro Sakurai is a game director known primarily for his work with industry titan Nintendo. His extensive body of work has consisted almost entirely of projects developed in partnership with them, resulting in franchise juggernauts like Kirby and Super Smash Bros. However, in 2015, the world-renowned designer was presented with an opportunity which, had he accepted, could have led his career down a very different path. He was offered the chance to make virtual reality games for American tech company Oculus. The details of their encounter were shared with me by Blake J. Harris, the author of Console Wars, which told the story behind Nintendo and Sega's infamous rivalry of the 1990s. His second book, History of the Future, chronicles the founding of Oculus and their endeavours to bring VR to the mainstream. His research into the company led him to uncovering their attempts to recruit Masahiro Sakurai. Despite his close association with Nintendo, Sakurai's personal gaming pursuits are wide-ranging and diverse. In his columns written for Japanese magazine Famitsu, he has often praised the work of other companies such as Nier Automata and Persona 5. One part of the industry outside of his usual wheelhouse with which he holds a particular fascination is virtual reality. In an August 2013 column, Sakurai spoke positively of the Oculus Rift, for example. "I experienced the Oculus Rift VR goggles," he said. "You'd have to experience it for yourself to understand, so I won't say much here, but I'm certain it'll be a hit in the near future." Sakurai would expand upon his enthusiasm for VR in May 2014 as he explored the medium's possibilities in a Famitsu article translated by Kotaku. He imagined a transparent vehicle allowing him to see more of the world around him and the road passing beneath his feet while in motion. Although such a feat would be difficult to realise in the real world, he supposed this scenario could be brought to life using virtual reality. He also listed off a few games he wanted to see utilise VR in the future, saying, "Personally, I'd like to play Jumping Flash. It'd probably be quite scary though. You could probably make a crazy Love Plus game. A horror game like Resident Evil or Fatal Frame could be good too." He went on to mention that he would love to develop a project using VR himself under the right circumstances, such as if he happened to be making a 3D first-person game. However, he regretfully conceded that his ongoing project at the time, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, would not be VR suitable. Between Sakurai's positive words towards the Oculus Rift and this blue sky thinking of his about the potential of virtual reality, his interest in it was evident. As his statements gained coverage in the Western gaming press, they would soon catch the attention of Oculus itself and its founder, Palmer Luckey. By coincidence, Luckey himself was a long-time follower of Sakurai's work, apparently considering Super Smash Bros. To be his all-time favourite video game franchise. Enthused by Sakurai's comments, he would later arrange to meet the director with the intention of recruiting him to Oculus. Sakurai himself is not a Nintendo employee, instead working with them through a contract on a game-by-game basis. Ergo, as long as his business with Nintendo was fulfilled, he was at liberty to take on proposals from other companies like this. 1 year earlier, Oculus had been acquired by Facebook in an acquisition reportedly totaling $3 billion. With their vast resources now at his fingertips, Palmer Luckey hoped to put together an offer compelling enough to bring Sakurai on board. The two met on April 12, 2015 at Akasaka Rikyu, a Cantonese restaurant in Tokyo. Over dinner, they would discuss the game industry and Luckey did his best to convey his appreciation for Sakurai's games. He lavished praise upon the Smash Bros. Series, highlighting the level of care and attention paid to each character. Sakurai bowed his head in gratitude, and the conversation soon moved towards Luckey's offer. He essentially wanted to give Sakurai the chance to make whatever game he wanted for the Oculus VR. The deal promised complete creative control, a generous paycheck, and the opportunity to build the game either there in Japan or anywhere else in the world. In response, Sakurai admitted that he did want to work on games using virtual reality, but held one major reservation about the offer. He stated that if he was to work on VR, he would want to give it his all, but he would find it hard to do that, knowing his games were being made for only a small audience. The games would have been made exclusively for Oculus platforms, potentially limiting their exposure. This attitude is something that Sakurai has discussed in the past. In an article on the making of Super Smash Bros. Brawl, as translated by Source Gaming, he described how he came to the conclusion he would direct the game. "As much as possible, I wanted to satisfy the most amount of players, partners, including those abroad. Taking all of those into consideration, there was no other choice but to make Smash. Had he accepted the opportunity presented by Oculus, it would have represented a major departure from his past works, but discussions ended after this meeting. Masahiro Sakurai continued to work with Nintendo on Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, developing downloadable content packs throughout the rest of 2015. His fascination with virtual reality has since continued. In a 2015 interview, he mentioned enjoying a Pacific Rim Oculus VR experience during a visit to Facebook's headquarters. For more content like this, please don't forget to subscribe. You can support my research on Patreon like these kind people did. I've been Liam, and I hope you'll join me for another Game History Secrets.